समर टाइम ऑलमोस्ट खत्म हो गया है और
Mhm.
इन्फ्लेशन बहुत बढ़ गया है और हमारे प्रेसिडेंट साहब ने कुछ नई पॉलिसीज निकाली हैं इन्फ्लेशन को कम करने के लिए। सो आई थॉट मे बी व्हाट अ परफेक्ट अपॉर्चुनिटी टू लर्न फ्रॉम यू, व्हाट डज दिस इन्फ्लेशन रिडक्शन एक्ट मीन्स टू यू एंड हाउ it will help us or hurt us.
Yes, first of all, good morning to everybody who's watching this video. And just wanted to bring all the good things about Inflation Reduction Act. This was passed when it relates to taxes. But before I do that, I just want to make sure everybody understand also few things for this year. Uh, First of all, if you are an individual tax filer, uh, you have to be really cautious in terms of filing the tax return this year because of reconciliation of unemployment compensation, child tax credit reconciliations. Then a lot of disaster happened in this year, like floods and fires and everything. And there will be more changes coming in the back of the year, in the future of the years, and we have to really plan the things properly for this year. Now, when you're a business tax filer, of course, you must be hearing that a lot of provisions are being made for IRS to hire people, and the IRS have been vigilant in terms of compliances and more into COVID-related scams that happened, COVID-related fraud that happened. The President Biden signed into law before this act was passed in Senate, two bills related to COVID-related fraud. So if you are having a PPP loan, you should not misuse the PPP loan for reason other than what it was sanctioned for. For example, you have to run payroll, you have to do working capital expenses with that amount, and you have to apply for forgiveness for getting that off from your books. Now, when it comes to ERC, Employee Retention Credit, make sure that you don't. You should be careful that ERC applies properly in your business. There are a lot of payroll companies who are looking for ERCs and they say you qualify, but you have a whether you really qualify for those ERCs. Means in terms of not only in terms of revenue reduction, but also in terms of partial closure and full closure, whether your business really suffered during that closure of the business, not just because you were working remotely, uh, there was a problem in and not getting the things done. So you have to be careful. Like in case of mine, like for example, CPA practice, I need people. I need to come in the office and meet people. So of course, that partial closure affected my business, so I'm a good candidate for ERC. But same should apply for a good candidate. Just don't fall into the scam of the not. I will not say scam. Just into the fall into the payroll companies or third parties saying, hey, you can do ERC, claim the ERC. Just make sure your proper documentation because it's a payroll tax bill. Coming to EIDL loans, uh, SBA has provided EIDL loans, economic injury disaster loan, very cheap loan at a standard rate of 3.75% fixed for 30 years. You should not use that money for investment. You should not use that money for distributions. You should not use the money for buying cars. Should use the money for in a proper manner and proper documentation is required because you signed those documents when you got those loans. So make sure that all those things are taken into account and your proper documentation. Connect with your CPAs, your account professionals, and make sure those things are in good shape. Now coming to this Inflation Reduction Act, which was passed on Sunday in the Senate. Of course, it's just passed in the Senate, so it has to still go to the House get it passed there, and then President of course has said he's going to sign this into law. Remember the Build Back Better plan, which was shuttered in 2021. That Build Back Better plan. It's just a version of Build Back Better plan. Version when I say version is shorter version, not long version. But they were able to put in some tax provisions into this. So the tax provision are more related towards incentive for individuals and business tax filers to become more energy efficient in terms of expanding those credits for 2022 for post year 2022 purchases for buying clean fuel vehicles, both new and used. Now we are still going to wait for the details. It's a 725 pages of document. They're still working on the details since it's not passed in the House, and you don't know what might change also when it get passed in the House. So we have to wait for that. What do you mean by which vehicles qualify for the credits, and what is the income limit for those ones? If you're having homes, if you're buying homes and you're making them energy efficient, you will get qualify for some credits. Again, we are waiting for the details. If you're having a commercial building, if you're buying commercial buildings and on your real estate investment properties and you're making the energy efficient, of course, there's some provisions there to get a credit for those things. Or if you're producing clean energy and fuels, of course, you get some benefit in that. Now, these are just a snapshot of the benefit. How much benefit? What income levels will make you qualify for those benefits? We have to still wait for the details. Now, one thing also is there for increasing the research credit against payroll taxes for qualified small businesses for post 2022 tax year. Means you can get more R&D credits and increase the R&D credit by amount equal to $250,000. Of course, again, we have to wait for the details. Then the medical benefit, they want to extend the premium tax credit for the individuals to buy. They're going to extend that period so you get more subsidy for medical benefits and higher income levels qualify for this subsidy. So that's an important provision for extending those medical benefits for people with higher incomes. And how much income they qualify? We remember last time it was 92,000 uh, uh, qualified income levels highest. Now they might extend it. Again, we are waiting for the details for that. And and when it comes to funding of this plan, the funding is going to come from compliances. They are giving budget for the IRS to increase their staff, and you will see more audits coming in terms of uh, office audit or business or correspondence audit for your individual tax returns filing and business tax filing. So you will see more audits coming in terms of this from the IRS. Notices coming from IRS because they have provided budget for that for compliances for the IRS, and they are talking about a 15% minimum tax on corporate. Now, which corporate? How much income levels? They are saying above $1 billion. $1 billion revenue, they're going to have kind of a tax of 15%. That's not a good way because all the big corporations, if you're going to pay some taxes, they're not going to hire more people. For me, it looks like not an inflation reduction. It looks more of increasing the inflation. So that provision is not good. If I'm imposing something on big companies, 15% like is like a minimum tax. Why are you doing that? And then last but not the least, they want to have 1% excise tax on certain stock repurchases. I mean, that's also not good for big companies. They can plan those stock repurchases, but the plan wants to impact to levy this 1% excise tax. So these are certain provisions of the Inflation Reduction Act. This was passed in Senate. Like I said, it's a 725 pages of this act and still has to go to the House. What will happen in the House, we have to wait, and then President will sign into law. And President has already indicated he wants to do this as soon as possible by August 12th. So that's how this is a bare snapshot of this act.
So, Sanjeevji, what's interesting about this whole scenario with this corporate tax is, we go to people like you, smart people who have read the tax law books and who can advise us how to reduce our taxable income by doing X, Y, and Z. And now the government comes back and say, hey, look, if you do X, Y, and Z, then we are going to charge you this additional tax to eliminate whatever Sanjeevji saved us in the first place.
And they don't make our life easier. Think about it. Like I said, I keep saying it's 725 pages plus act. So many details are there. Still, it's on the air, and we are seeing that by experience. When it comes into law, things will change more. So we are waiting. We have this webinar on August 20th. Till that time, we'll get more clarity on this one, and then we can really talk about this in the webinar too.
So, my friends, those of you guys who have not yet registered for the webinar, please do register on sanjeevcpa.com. It's a free webinar, doesn't cost you anything. Just register so that way we can send you the invite to join the webinar on that day. It's a very, very important webinar of the year. Sanjeev ji will discuss strategies how you can reduce that taxable income so that way you don't have to, you know, get caught paying more than you should pay in your fair share of taxes this year. Very, very important for those of us who make over 200K in income. So those of you guys who are making good amount of income definitely want to join in, because Sanjeev ji will talk about some very special strategies to reduce your taxable income. Once again, it's free, doesn't cost you anything. You can invite your friends, family members to join the webinar. If you are in a different state, you're welcome to join in. Doesn't matter. Strategy works for everyone. So if you are in Texas or New York or New Jersey, jump on it. It's no cost, absolutely free. So uh, so Sanjeev ji, August 20th it is, right? So not this Saturday,
Yes,
but the next
understood.
Saturday.
Next Saturday.
As usual, we'll start at 10 o'clock. Sanjeev ji will give us the presentation, share the strategy. And the end of the webinar, we'll leave some questions open so that way you guys can get all of your questions answered as well. Am I correct, Sanjeev ji?
Yes, and we get a lot of questions in the chat window.
Yeah, especially this time. I think with that new strategy that you have, I think that's going to save people lots and lots of money. So once again, I'm very excited. I mean, I want to learn that strategy, and I'm definitely sharing that with all my friends and family members. You should definitely share that with your friends and family members as well, because why should you be the only one to save? You should definitely share the saving with other people as well. So once again, thank you so much, Sanjeevji, for your time today, and I'll look forward to meeting you next week, and then we'll do the webinar on the 20th.
Thank you.